Hello and welcome to the International Daily Roundup with People's Dispatch, where we bring you some of the top stories of the day. I am Suranga, and in our first story, we look at Bolivia, where opposition forces have launched violent protests as election results showed President Evo Morales likely to return to power. Results on Monday show that Morales was very close to victory as he had almost established a 10% lead over his nearest rival, Carlos Mesa. According to Bolivian law, a candidate on win in the first round has to obtain either over 50% of the vote or over 40% with a 10% lead over the candidate who comes in second. Media reports spoke of protests in the capital La Paz, Sucre and Tarija. Teleso reported on Monday that the quick count of votes showed Morales having obtained 46.86% of the votes against 36.73% for Mesa. Later reports spoke of the margin having come down to just below 10% while the counting continued. A more detailed count is also simultaneously going on. Morales, ever since coming to power in 2006, has transformed the country's economy and society, marking a break from the neoliberal model prevalent in the rest of the continent. He has also been a bulwark against US imperialist policies in the region. In this context, it is not surprising that both the US diplomat in the region, Michael Kozak, and the Organization of American States were quick to comment on the delay in the elections, using this pretext to hint at irregularities. The coming 2 days will be vital for the country and the continent, and the people of Bolivia may be called to defend their democracy and system. Moving on to Israeli elections, after spending almost 4 weeks trying to gather a majority in the Knesset for his ultra-right-wing coalition government, incumbent Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu finally gave up on Monday. In a video statement, he said that he had failed to convince leaders of other parties to form a government. Now, Benny Gantz, leader of the Blue and White-led alliance, gets the opportunity to form a new government and seek a majority within the next 28 days. If Benny Gantz too fails to garner the support of the required 61 members of the Knesset, the president can give the mandate to anyone who is willing to try for another 21 days. In case no one succeeds, fresh elections, the third within this year, will automatically take place. The second Knesset elections were held on September 17th after the first election in April did not throw up any clear results. However, in the second election too, no party or alliance got a clear majority. In the September 17th elections, Blue and White emerged as the largest party. However, since the Likud-led alliance had more seats than the Blue and White one, President Rivlin invited Netanyahu to try and form a unity government. Benny Gantz's Blue and White-led alliance has been assured the support of 54 Knesset members, which includes his own party's 33, Labour Gesher's 6, Democratic Camp's 5, and 10 of the 13 legislators from the Arab party's joint list. It still needs the support of a minimum of 7 legislators. The stance of Avigdor Lieberman's Yisrael Beitenu, which has 8 seats in the Knesset, will be crucial in deciding the fate of Benny Gantz. Finally, in Lebanon, massive protests have been taking place since October 17th after the government introduced a tax on VoIP calls, that is, calls made using apps such as WhatsApp, Viber, etc. The huge numbers on the streets forced the government to withdraw the tax, but the protests escalated and took on the economic policies of the government. People's Dispatch spoke to Jana Nakhal of the Lebanese Communist Party yesterday, just as Lebanon's Prime Minister Saad Hariri announced his plan to deal with the economic crisis. Here's what she had to say about the path ahead for the people on the streets.
Actually, our biggest fears were about today. Everyone was talking about today being a very important day because of many things. First of all, because Hariri was going to and had announced his let's say solution. Second of all, because of the extent and grandeur of this movement. I'm talking about yesterday there was 2.5 million people in the streets all over Lebanon, in a country of almost 4 million people. So the extent and strength of this movement meant that the political parties in power felt threatened. And we all know that when capital is threatened, it hits hard. And this is what we were afraid of, that they took and this is what happened. They took their thugs into the streets all over Beirut, all over the regions. People were attacked, people were shot. People are threatened everywhere. So this is one thing that happened, but people stayed in the streets, and this is what shows how steadfast people are. We were also afraid of the media, because we meaning the left, meaning the Lebanese Communist Party, meaning everyone who's in the streets, don't own the media. Those who own the media are those who have the money. So the media is talking about, what we call mukharribin, mundasin, which is something that would be like saboteur, who are destroying the streets, destroying people's properties, etc., etc. These are their arms. These are what they're fighting us with, and until now, people are still supporting us. The protesters are still on the streets. There's no fear, because actually fear started to end at the moment where people stopped fearing that these parties would cut their services and stop paying them money. So this is the most important thing that happened today. What is also important is that after the speech of Hariri, people did not buy into the speech. People did not accept it. Several initiatives have been launched to propose what the protesters want, what the demands of the protesters are, and what let's say the plan of the protester is. Until now, everyone is agreeing upon the idea of the resignation of the government. I think that the coming 2 days would be a test for the steadfastness of these protesters. If we really want to have a resignation, if we're not going to be afraid of the threats, the social, political, and economic threats of the protesters. Yesterday night, they were saying that there are immoral things happening in these protests. Knowing that people from all religious and non-religious backgrounds are there, nobody bought into this. So let's see how steadfast we can stay, because we think that they are very much afraid. We're not the ones who are afraid.
So this is all we have in this episode of the International Daily Roundup. For more such stories and videos, visit our website peoplesdispatch.org, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you.
De pie cantar que vamos a triunfar.